Hi everybody, Radical Russ here. We are still at the DFWNORMLCON convention, conference? I guess it's a conference. And we're at Froggy's at the pre-event, and I met this wonderful woman. Her name is Talia, and she's with Mothers Advocating Medical Marijuana for Autism. Thank you for being here, and thanks for standing up for this.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an easy thing to stand up for because it's truth, and it's our children.
Absolutely. Now, is this something that came from a personal place?
Absolutely. I am a mother with a child who has autism. He's 9 years old. His name is Lance. And as a conservative Republican, this is the last thing I had been thinking about. I'm very focused in on autism, but as reports came out about Dravet syndrome, epilepsy, it kind of sort of got my attention. My son doesn't have seizures, so it's kind of, I am an autism advocate. There's this book and a blog that I'm involved with, Thinking Mom's Revolution. So people kept tapping me on my shoulder as an advocate about, hey, you really need to look at this. Then reports started coming out of California that kids were gaining focus, they were gaining language, kids were dropping diagnosis, aggression gone, and they had my attention.
Absolutely.
And now I see it as my purpose, as a conservative, a purpose and a calling. I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, and I understand this issue clear as day. And I feel like it is my calling and my purpose to bridge the gap on this issue, and I feel like this is an absolute unifying issue that I'm here at a normal
I know,
conference.
It's amazing.
This earlier I was at the Texas State Republican Convention, and I'm over here now at Texas Normal.
Night and day as far as conventions.
And absolutely, and both are my people.
Yes.
Love in both places, and so it's been, my life is very exciting right now.
It sounds like it. Now, I remember reporting on this issue. First mother I remember was Nico Hester Perez, her son Joey.
Absolutely.
Remarkable work that medical marijuana did for him.
Absolutely.
That was a California situation.
Yes.
Lately, we've seen 8 states now in 4 months pass these bills for cannabidiol oil, CBD oil, that is being touted by these politicians as the answer for epilepsy and other childhood syndromes. Can you tell us why that's not the case?
Because so many of the children, each child is individual. Each child needs to be looked at as an individual. We can't just one size fits all cannabidiol for everyone. Some of the kids need varying ratios of THC to CBD. In the case of autism, it's especially important for parents to have that freedom and that right to play with that. Sometimes CBD causes an excitatory response in children of autism. We need to be looking at the gut serotonin, dopamine levels. Will THC help a little bit if they are a bit hyperactive or having an excitatory response? And that needs to be something that a parent has the freedom to discuss and work with a doctor on. And so it's a health freedom issue, it's a liberty issue. That makes it, for me, a conservative issue.
I couldn't agree more. I'm originally from Idaho and grew up with around conservatives and conservative thought, and always baffled me that conservatives can be so anti-government meddling in people's lives, except this issue.
Right.
And I personally believe a lot of it has to do with the stigma of people that use cannabis recreationally. And that maybe these people are thinking that, oh, it's got THC, that's the stoner smoking pot thing, and we don't let kids smoke pot. Explain why that's like so off base.
Well, first of all, I think we need to just talk about the language that we're using.
Yeah.
The propaganda campaign against cannabis has been so remarkably successful. I can't really think of many other propaganda campaigns that have been as successful as that one. And the term that they've used and coined and even put into legislation is medical marijuana.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And that is a racist term. That is a term that word is just embodying prejudice and fear. So I like to talk about medicinal cannabis, medicinal cannabinoids, cannabinoid medicine, cannabinoid extracts. When you start using that kind of language, people go, what are you talking about? Right? And suddenly, we have an open mind and we can begin to discuss. What we are fighting here, the Goliath here, is simple. Fear. It's all fear. The opposite of love is not hate. And so these people who are in opposition, a lot of the arguments are slippery slope, gateway drug, fear-based. And it's founded in propaganda. And they believe this. It's not that they're bad people, it's not that they don't have compassion, it's not that they don't have hearts. It's that if you walked their experience, you would probably be afraid too. Because look at what they've been told, look at what they've been taught, look at the generations, the decades of this. generation after generation after generation. So it is a little bit of a Goliath, but my Bible says perfect love driveth out fear. And I believe in that. I stand on that. And I know that when I come at them with that expression of love, acknowledging that they do want what's best for Texas families, that they do have a heart for my child, for other children, that they are really, truly speaking out of their own experience and their own truth. When I acknowledge that, there's a willingness to listen. And today I spoke to several legislators. I was asking, who are the Tea Partiers? Where's the rocky ground? Who are the guys that are going to say no, no, no? And as I found them and had these conversations, I can tell you right now, I did not get one hard no. What I got a lot of was, I need to do more research. And you know what that means? It's saying I need to get educated. They're acknowledging their own ignorance. I need to do more research. And if they follow through on that, this is a winnable issue. Now, as far as the THC component is concerned, I think for Republicans, we have to go in with cannabidiol, we have to go in with Juvaes and epilepsy, and at that point we can say, and by the way, some of these families are going to need to play with it. Can we get plant, but even if we just passed CBD in the Texas legislation for 2015, it would be huge, because everybody's saying Texas will be last. But my Bible says the last shall be first, and I stand on that.
It is so refreshing to hear you espousing Christian values as they pertain to sick kids. It seems to me we're supposedly called a Christian nation, and yet people stand by and worry that we can't help a sick kid because we're afraid of someone else using cannabis in a way we don't take for life. I can't believe that.
Fear. And when I look at the Republican Party platform principles, the 10 principles by which they define and guide them in their platform, coming up with the planks, the principles are fantastic. It's about sovereignty, freedom, families living under natural law, founding fathers, God, nature. This is the language that are used in the principles, and that's right in line with what we're talking about. So if we can get them on this issue of epilepsy, cannabidiol, we can start talking about health freedoms, liberties. We can start making that kind of headway and start opening minds. Today, this Republican convention was so exciting. In temporary committee, medicinal marijuana was voted onto the party platform as a plank. Then the opposition came in with testimony and doctors and saying, no, oh my gosh, gateway drug, slippery slope. It got voted down. But what I've come at Republicans against marijuana prohibition and those that are advocating, I've come in and said, listen guys, you got to repackage this message. And when I have these one-on-one conversations, here's what's happening. So even though it got voted out in permanent committee, there's a minority report, and tomorrow on the floor in the assembly, there will be more testimony. And we're on point now. We're on message. We're going to go in with cannabidiol. We're going to go in with health freedoms. We're going to go in with, these are the party principles, and this is why it needs to be on the platform. We need to be in support of these families. Republicans love family, and their values are family values. And families are being forced to move out of state. They're being forced to commit felonies.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing. When these parents get the hope of this bill passing, and then they learn, oh, you can't get it in Iowa. You have to drive to Colorado and become a federal drug trafficker to bring it back. I always think if these people want to be criminals, they do that now.
I had a mom conversation in California. She got a prescription from a doctor. She lives in Texas. And she's just so in fear of bringing back a non-psychoactive extract. She's in such fear. And it's so sad. She shouldn't have to be afraid to bring something back for her child that's going to help and heal her child.
So now is this group, Mothers Advocating Marijuana for Autism, is it national? Is it Texas-based?
We are Texas-based. We've been getting a lot of inquiries. Lots of states would like us to open other chapters, but I really feel like we have to succeed in Texas in the 2015 legislative session. We've got to stay focused on Texas. Once we've had success in Texas, then we can teach others how to replicate, but I'm not trying to put my cart before my horse and do too much. I really want to stay focused on Texas. If we can do it here, we can do it anywhere.
Oh, that's for sure. So if people want to help in Texas with MAMA, Mothers Advocating Medical Marijuana for Autism, how do they get in touch with you?
Please go to www.texasmama.org, and you can find my email address there. You can find bios. My partner, Amy Lou, and I, we love that church. All the moms in our special needs groups are on board with this. The epilepsy groups are on board with this too. We're here. We're saying, hey guys, we're one of you now, you know. And I love this issue because it's so unifying. There's been so much division and so much fear of you and me even talking, you know. And this issue just brings love and compassion and unity and something we can all get on board with, even if we're at extreme opposite ends. And I just see it as such a beautiful thing. God-given endocannabinoid system, God-given plant with cannabinoids in it. My God doesn't make mistakes. I go back to Genesis 1, 29 through 31. God made every herb-bearing seed. And it goes on to say, and he said, behold, it is good. It is good. It is good. That is God medicine.
Can I get DJ to the stage?
Talia from Mama, you're doing great work. TexasMama.org. And you are a natural born lobbyist. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck at the convention.
God bless you. And God bless you all.